everybody, Judge Gut here, and I've been asked to do a tour of my work area, so let's get on with it. So here you can see is my computer, and this is where I actually do my painting. You can probably see here I have two lights, one there and one there, and over the top of them is tracing paper to diffuse the light a bit. So if I just turn those on, you see the daylight bulbs and what have you. So then all very well lit now. So just a cutting mat as my work surface, everyday sort of tools. So let's have a closer look at those. So everyday objects, plastic glue, the needle applicator, very good stuff. I think it's the Revell one. Really good glue for plastics. Rocket gel super glue, nice and thick, really good stuff. Had no trouble with that. Pin vise, brush cleaner, toothpicks. They're used for all sorts. Some paints I'm actually just been using. The washes I use the most, which is pretty much just Griffin Sepia, Devlin Mud, Badab Black, and that one which is a mix of Badab Black and Ashenman Blue, which I sometimes use on the metallics. Syringes for 1 drop of water to 1 drop of paint. Just gives me a rough idea of what I'm doing. Some airbrush thinner. There's probably more than anything just been left out. Some isopropanol for when I use pigments. And brushes. So good brushes are kept this side. So that's my Winsor & Newtons and some Capel series brushes. Also some of the rubber tipped sculpting tools for green stuff. I haven't actually used them yet. One of the things I'm planning to do soon. Just demoted brushes. Tend to get used for metallics and things like that. And then dog's body brushes for dry brushing, applying large amounts of wash, that sort of thing, and a couple of mixing sticks. So if we just have a little look around, down the side here I have my tripod I use for doing most of my videos, a large box, which I'll show you what that's for later. That's tracing paper, and they're all my blank bases, 40mm, 28mm, 60mm, what have you. Some cleaning products for stripping paint and boxes for posting things off. My two main toolboxes, my Dremel, some Games Workshop paints which are years old and have probably dried up completely, and compressor for my airbrush, and my airbrush, which I don't use a lot. Some polishing heads for my Dremel, box of mediums, so that's all my stuff that's not paints. That's where I keep my Crackle medium, metallic medium, my decal solutions, that sort of thing. And then up here are my main shelves. This is my work in progress shelf, so whenever I want to get something off my desk, it goes onto here. That's to be stripped, that's to be stripped minis as well. That box back there is things people have sent to me, metal bodied minis. It's my masking tape that I use. I've just been using that. Tamiya's masking tape, really good stuff. Craft knife and what have you. Then I have the start of my Orc army. It's all it needs to progress. And then that's my happy shelf, as Detlef says. So I display all my things. And over here, this is where I just put my water cups when I'm not using them to stop the kids knocking them over onto the computer. So I have a pot for if I want to strip a single mini. Grey pumice and water effects. Pigments, which I haven't really got into using yet. The washes that I don't use that often, and spare GW pots for sticking minis on. Like that. Stop me having to handle them. This is here. I'll show you this. This is a little tripod I have for when I film my videos to get really up close to the mini. That's what I use. It came free on Digital Camera magazine many years ago. Very, very useful. Then my GW books and lots of art of books, different films, computer games, that sort of thing. Star Wars books, more Star Wars books. Not all of mine, but some of my computer games and DVDs and what have you. And then the rest of it up here is all my handheld games collection. All sorts of Nintendos and Game & Watches and things like that. But right then, I'll show you the contents of my toolboxes now. And I'll also show you what the big box is for. Big box goes here at the edge of my work mat, and then you guys go on top. And that's how we get top down video. First toolbox is my not used very often toolbox. So this is my dumping ground toolbox more than anything, I suppose. A file, some self pressure tweezers, which are very good for decals, because you don't have to keep it pressed to hold on to the decal, it'll do that itself. Pair of pliers, cheap super glues for basing and things like that, blue tack for sticking models to things and sticking tracing paper onto lights, paper clips for pinning, and just general bits and bobs. And then underneath we have PVA, more clippers and pliers and things like that. These are all acrylic inks, airbrush cleaner, brush restorer, all that sort of stuff. And that's a compass cutter. Use that to cut plastic to cut a circle of plastic card or something like that. I use that so you can measure out exactly how big you want it, and that'll just score it, and then you can snap it out. So that's that toolbox. Onto the main one, which hasn't been liberated from my children at all. First one, Tamiya weathering kit. That's really nice, very useful piece of kit that. So mud and rust and the snow one. I tend to just use the soot and the brown really. But very useful, easy to use. Pair of clippers, sculpting tools, file, knife, just general stuff. And here should be magnets and green stuff. And some drill bits for my invoice. And then in the last one is bits and pieces of all sorts. So plastic card wire, plastic card eye bars, plastic card rod, offcuts of plastic card, Oyamaru, just bits and pieces that have not found themselves a proper home, basically put into there. Then we have the inside of here, which is where the bulk of my basing stuff is kept. So we have some general woodland scenics foliage bits and bobs, some army painted tufts, static grass. Now this is a pack I bought years ago from a model shop near me that's sadly closed. Yeah, so there's all sorts in there. Different types of static grass. So there's like a dark green summer grass. There's an autumn grass which is more yellow. So it's nice if I use static grass, I like to get different colours mixed in and just makes it look more natural. Different types of long grass. So we've got a green and there's a pale one in here somewhere. Different flock. Summer flock, autumn flock. Different grades of talus, fine, coarse. And little pieces of cork for rocks and bits and bobs. So that's what's in there. Then we have, let's just gravel mix. It's just talus, gravel, ground up pastel in there to give it a nice varied texture. So if I'm doing something large I may use that on it. I tend to use the layered pumice now. If you wanted to mix some of that in with it maybe. make it a bit coarser. Might give it a go at some stage. For the GW basing kit, razor wire, all stone bits and bobs. Resin pieces. These are quite nice actually. I don't tend to use these so much because I always think, oh, I'll have to buy some more. So they're quite nice. You just glue them into your base and then build up around them. Nice little bits and pieces on there. Quick and easy way to cheat to a base. And then there's a collection of all sorts of other odds and sods in there. Front of a dreadnought, I can see. Bits and bobs, yeah. They've got just things to glue onto bases basically to add a bit of interest to them. That is the gravelly, shingly stuff. And then some more resin pieces. Cheap mini pot, just the low grade stuff. Just use that for bases, just filling in the gaps. Cheaper than using green stuff. And then these are just bits boxes. So this rather butch looking box. There are Space Marine torsos and legs, backpacks, arms, shoulder pads. And in this one is bits and pieces. Then directly under here is a little cubby hole, and in there I keep my general bits and pieces of cork supply, which also has other bits and bobs in it, some diamond plate patterned green stuff, some bits of patterned plastic card, plastic cogs, all that sort of thing. For basing, and then also keep my stock of plastic card. So I'll have a look at these. So this is warped wood. And then just wood. Random stone. Paving. That's the one I used on the Help the Heroes base. I really like that one. It's very nice. Good for sort of imperial buildings. Now this one, I believe, is actually crazy paving. It's supposed to be, but as far as I'm aware, in the 41st millennium, there is only war and no patios. So not much call for crazy paving. So I use it as dry riverbed, desert type terrain. It's another type of paving. Also works well for walls. Corrugated iron. And checker plate. It's good for industrial urban rubble sort of stuff. It also has strips of rivets. So yeah, so that's my plastic card stock. And then I also have a large piece of natural cork, which is good for rocks and bits and pieces like that. And then the only thing left down here is my paints. Consist of the Game Colour Extra Opaque set, just to give me some more standard colours to use, because I tend to have quite it's got Panzer Aces heavy in my paint box, because that's what my local model store stocks. So this was to give me a few more gaming colours. And then my paint box. So there's all sorts in there. Like I say, it's predominantly Panzer Aces, but there's some game colour and model colour and what have you in there as well. So yeah, so that's all the paints I have. Actually, I don't have a huge selection of paints. But I have enough to mix pretty much everything I could need, and then I just buy now based on the project. If I need another colour, I'll just buy a few more colours. I'm hopefully going to stick some shelves up so I can actually get all the paints and just have them on a shelf. Then I'll work on building up the paints that I have. So there we go. There's a quick tour of my work area, and I hope that's of some interest to you. Thanks for watching, guys.